Hello everybody, it's me, your host, TONIK TZW, and we're here in the British Tier 6 Tech Tree Cruiser, the Surrey. This one's cruising for a bruising, and I like this video because as well as it being a good game, it was a good example of using kiting as a defense and trying to keep your eyes on more targets than one to make sure that you're not going to get blatted off the map. But if anybody wants to know about playing agile cruisers, don't ask me, ask somebody like Hipper. But I think this is quite a good example of playing with agility and also kiting away from the enemy and using that as a rolling defense to stop them from pushing round. No point in getting close and letting them get rid of you, sending you back to port early when you can keep them at arm's reach and use that range to your advantage. Now, I've watched this video back a couple of times and it all seems a little bit messy. We've got this destroyer with us who seems very shy about going anywhere near the capture points. However, the other destroyer, the Akazuki, is going to play the capture points. We've got our guns across to that cap because we're expecting him to bump a destroyer. And as I said, I've got my buddy Dark Fury Jan in here with me. We're both in Surreys. I don't actually know what led us to playing this ship. I think it was just grinding up the tech tree line to try and tick off a box. But we are spotted, which means there's a destroyer somewhere out there within our detection range. We see that there's an Atlanta out there. We put some shots on them. That Atlanta is going to play very well, but that turnout came at just the right time. We get the destroyer spotted as well. Ours is going guns on him, but I'm really hoping that he's not going to get himself spotted, which he has done, and he has to blow a smoke to cover himself from that Atlanta. That could have turned out very, very badly. But it doesn't, and so we game on. We get the destroyer spotted again. He's pretty much at maximum range, and I'm trying to find my feel for these guns with the time of flight of the shells, how much I need to be leading, and I'm doing my best. But that guy has decided that he wants to run away. The Atlanta's in a position where we can't get shells onto him, but we know he can loft shells across there. He has quite high arcs of fire, so we're just going to keep plopping those and hoping that this destroyer can get things spotted. We know that there are a couple of battleships out there. The Akazuki, is successful on taking that cap, and he's going to move around to the other cap, but the rest of the team over there are going to kind of push in and kind of plonk on that edge on the it's about the 2 o'clock position, and I think they're just going to trade blows. And there are a couple of other destroyers out here on the map that we don't know where they are, so we know that there is the Atlanta. So I'll put some shots on him. Again, I think I overlead to the rear on there. Look, he puts his engines forward and we completely miss that one. We want to try and get rid of him or take his hit points down so far that he doesn't want to get into a fight. But he certainly knows how to play that ship. He is very, very good at it, and it's going to be a while until we see him disappear back to port, that's for sure. But that doesn't mean that we aren't going to stay focused on him. Now, as our destroyer has moved across to C cap, red team are going to take the advantage, and they are going to push in and take B cap, and we are going to really be at a cap advantage for the majority of this game. And that is never, never a good place to be. There we go. The Akatsuki, I think I got that right. It's not an Aki, it's an Akatsuki, is there on the cap. But we lose a destroyer across on C cap. So those battleships are out there on their own now. we've got two Bayerns pushing this flank. We want to get some fires on them and get them ticking. We know the destroyer's there, but he's a weaselly little so-and-so that is very difficult to hit. So we're going to put our attention onto the Bayerns. We need to let that destroyer do a little bit more. Now these two Bayerns are in division, and when you've got two guys in division in battleships, there's only one thing they're going to do, and that is run beside each other for will to rebuild. That destroyer is screening them, but I'm going to be very successful at lighting fires on these guys. They keep looking in the direction of the Mars. I know I'm spotted, and I'm just looking at where shells are likely to be coming from. I am pretty broadside there and get very, very lucky indeed. And that was kind of my lesson, my wake-up call in switch on. You need to keep eyes on both of these ships. Now the good thing is that we can start to time their reloads and know when they're expecting to be shooting at us. And we can watch for that shot and turn straight into my friend Jan here, who I'm saying, watch the turrets, watch the fire, turn out when they start shooting towards us. But I now have to turn in back towards the Bayerns, and that's not something that I particularly want to be doing, because the further away we are, the more their dispersion is, and that means that they have less chance of hitting us. There is the Atlanta again. He's tracking through into B cap. I think he's trying to push that other DD. We get a salvo across at him, and we're still kiting away these two Bayerns, looking for who's likely to fire. 4 turrets out at him. Turning slightly again. We're looking to see if we get a fire on him. If not, we'll go again. Job done. He's starting to feel toasty. I'm kind of hoping that this destroyer will start hitting something before too long and helping us out. The Atlanta is out of range. There's another ship out there with him, and I don't actually know what that is till I think much later in the game. But we get a fire on the other Bayern. We switch fire back on the Atlanta. Again, he's agile as well. He is playing that Atlanta very well, and I'll check his name afterwards, but GG to that guy for his efforts in this game. As I said, this is quite an old game. I've had stuff saved on the PlayStation 5 for ages, so I just thought that I would take the time to try and get some of these on that show different aspects. First of all, it's not a destroyer, which you normally see me in. It's in a cruiser, which is probably the ship that I play the least. So we're going to troll through and tick these videos off and get them online and get them scheduled so that we can keep you all entertained. So we know there's a battleship and the cruiser there, and our other destroyer is across on C-cap. He's contested. He has no support because those two battleships have gone the long way around, and sadly that is going to be his demise because Red Team have got, I think, 2 gunboats out there, and they are going to rush him down. But here we are. These guys are staying alive, you know, with will to rebuild, but it wasn't quite enough. The other guy is on his own now. There's no will to rebuild available. So a few more fires and we should be able to take care of this guy. We're going to keep piling on the pressure. Our destroyer is still out there behind us. Red Team have still got 2 of their 3 destroyers, and the Dallas and the Tennessee are still unsighted, so pretty much nobody can see anything apart from this one ship, because one destroyer is out here sailing around trying to torpedo with us, and the other guy appears to be sat in a smoke screen. There we go. We lose. It was a Benson out there. We lose the Benson. He obviously just got run down, and now Red Team have control of 2 caps, potentially a 3rd, because we know those battleships are not going to turn into that cap against a destroyer. I think this Bayern is considering pulling back. I take fire from the front. That is the Atlanta, so he is behind there somewhere. He's able to get shots across the top, but we're going to go on that Last buy-in, but he drops off with an arsonist. So arsonist is what, 60,000 fire damage out of 10 fires. That's not bad out of our 77,000 total. But oh dear, there's a big, huge battleship coming round the corner, and it's a Tennessee, and that is not good news for me. I don't know whether to turn in or turn out, but his guns aren't looking in my direction, so that gives us the opportunity to turn out away from him. We pick up a high caliber on just under 85,000 damage. We still know there's an Atlanta here somewhere, and there he is with a destroyer in the middle of that cap. Ouch. He is wrecking me. Now I've had to take my attention off the Tennessee. I lose my torpedo launchers. I get set on fire. He gets set on fire. But we aren't going to be able to finish the job on this guy. He is going to tuck back in behind that island. The Tennessee has still got me spotted. He can still get shots across the top. And now the Tennessee chimes in. His guns are now pointing in my direction. The destroyer, who as I said has been allergic to caps for the first 10-11 minutes of this game, is now going to come in. But he's going to do me a favour here. He's going to drop a smoke screen. I know I'm turning broadside to a Tennessee, but he's just fired his guns. And I'm really hoping that I can get this turn complete while getting the cap resets. We're trying to do as much as we can. That was an ouchy moment. I still got 27 seconds before I can repair. Tennessee goes on me again. I'm still open, but we're going to keep piling the pressure onto that guy. We've now got a smoke screen. You're not having this, Cap Sunshine. You are going back to port 2. So that is only 2 kills, 121,000 damage, high caliber, and an arsonist. But it is not over yet. We are 140 points down, nearly. There's the Atlanta, a Benham, and an Akatsuki. They have 3 caps. We only have 1. They are ticking points up a lot closer than we are, and we need to start pushing these caps. That Atlanta is the one that needs to be next to go. So I'm talking to my friend Jan, and I'm saying, if you push left, I'll push right. We'll cut through the middle, do what we can. The destroyer is chirping in with his guns as well, which would only serve to give red team more of an advantage. But I'm guessing he was doing that sneaky thing where he knew he was going to run behind the island and drop detection. He knows how far away the Atlanta is, but he is still going to play some risky games with this Atlanta. I certainly wouldn't, although now I would, and so does he. But I think that Atlanta was expecting him. He gets the kill, but literally he's got a sliver of health left on him. We've managed to pull it back to around 30 points. There's the Akatsuki out there. It looks like he's just missed a complete spread of torps at that battleship. They have pushed all the way down the outside of that cap to come in and try to steal red team's home cap. So now what we need to do is A, stay alive, and B, try and get control of this cap and the next one, because we couldn't rely on those battleships staying alive against, or that battleship staying alive against 2 destroyers. There's one more destroyer out there. This guy has 0 health. Literally, the Fuso could get torpedoed. This destroyer is a one-shot. There's only 50 points in it, really, at this stage. Losing any ship is going to cost us the game. The Benham, I think, fires his guns because the cap gets reset. That battleship, what's the smart move? Turn, sail away. We've got the win, but I think he's actually going to turn in towards him. That's scary business, and this is one of the reasons why I always say you should pay attention to the points. You should pay attention to the clock, because there is a time sometimes where the best thing to do is to turn and run to get away from things. Coming down to the last 20 seconds, we've got 80 points in it now, 90 points in it. We've managed to pull it back, and sailing onto this cap is going to block red team from accruing any further points with 10 seconds to play. I'm really hoping that that red team destroyer is not going to YOLO that battleship, not this late in the game. But there we go. He's out of range. Clock ticks down. We pick up a rather fragile win, I think is the best thing to call that. There we go, 135 gun hits and 12 fires. That's not too shabby, really. But we get the arsonist and a high caliber, so we certainly had our work cut out there. I think I needed to hit something else to get a Confederate out of that one, but it wasn't too shabby, ending with 2,483 base XP. Top for the team, and Jan in his Charlemagne does quite a decent job of it too. Hope you've enjoyed watching Cruisin for a Bruisin. If you have, please do, stick around, watch another video, and if you haven't already done so, please do click like, leave me a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.